Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ardoyne and Woodville. We have here today the immediate past Deputy Grand Master of Ireland, Brother Alistair Smith, and I asked him to come and address the Assembly here now.
County Grand Master, officers of Belfast County, officers and brethren of the Liganil Lodges. First of all, could I thank your County Grand Master for the invitation to say a few words this afternoon. I wasn't actually planning to do so. I was simply planning to be here and by my presence once more to show my continuing support for the Belfast Liganil Lodges. Nevertheless, the fact that I am here and the fact that I have been asked to say a few words gives me nothing but joy and pleasure. I first of all want to say and give a little word of explanation as to why I have been introduced as the immediate past Deputy Grand Master, and that is the fact that at the last Grand Lodge meeting I stepped down, or I declined to be re-elected. Part of the reason for that was simply I found I was trying to keep so many saucers spinning that a few of the saucers were falling at my feet and beginning to break, and therefore I felt that it's only right to give someone else who might have more time the opportunity to fulfill the role that maybe I wasn't fulfilling adequately because of time commitments. But I didn't want the brethren here to think the fact that I'd stepped down from being Deputy Grand Master meant in any way that my support for them and for their just cause is any less now than it was this time last year or at any time in the past. Because I continue to believe, as your County Master has just said, that what you stand for here at Liganil is something absolutely crucial and vital, namely civil and religious liberty. And my understanding of civil and religious liberty is this, that I afford to every other man and every other woman the right to worship in the way that they want, and the right to live in civil society in the way that they want. I may not agree with them, and in fact, as a Bible-believing Protestant, as a Bible-believing Christian, I believe that every other form of religion that does not believe in salvation by grace alone, through faith alone, in Christ alone, every other form of religion is contrary to the Bible. But I still afford them the right to exercise and to worship as they want. Now, since I afford to them the right to worship as they want and to conduct themselves in the way that they want, we as members of this institution also expect of them the same courtesy in return. And every time I put on this orange sash, I regard myself as engaging in an act of worship, whether I'm walking up that road or whether I'm worshipping in a place of worship within a church building. I am doing something that is intrinsically sacred, because as a member of this institution I belong to an institution that is based upon the Word of God. And therefore we continue to say to those in the Ardoyne, and we continue to say to those who oppose us, give to us our civil liberty. Give to us our religious liberty. We are not taking any of yours away from you, but you are taking ours away from us. And we say once again that our forefathers fought and died for this principle. King William III believed in this principle. He fought at the Battle of the Boyne for this principle, and we still stand for the same thing on this first Saturday of 2015. And brethren, I know that I am speaking for all of you here, and I know that I am speaking for those in the wider Orange institution who continue to give you their support in this matter. And therefore, I have no hesitation in being here today. There are some in church circles, who would not want me to be here today. There are some in church circles who have said to me, you should have nothing to do with that, Alistair Smith. And I have come under pressure from various quarters. But I am here today And once again I say to the brethren in Ligadale today that I am with you 100%. Why? Because I believe your cause is just. And wherever my voice is heard today, and wherever my face appears today, I say once again that I stand behind the principles that the brethren in Ligadale are standing for. And the fact that you're standing for these things is important, because I want to say this to you, that if you folks just faded from the scene, then every other parade that is controversial would be completely forgotten. Therefore, even though your numbers here today are smaller than maybe they were some time ago, you're still standing for something that is absolutely valuable. You're standing for something that is absolutely important. And I want to pay tribute to you. Though your numbers are smaller now than perhaps they were, you're still here. And I want, by my presence here today, to continue to give you my support. And I call upon others to give you their support as well. I know you've received support from brethren in Scotland and at times from brethren in England as well. And one of the posts I'm still privileged to hold is that of Imperial Grand Chaplain. And therefore, as Imperial Grand Chaplain here today, I want to say and I want to thank the brethren from elsewhere, from other jurisdictions, who have indicated their support to you, some of them by coming, some of them by sending money to enable you to continue to finance your protest. And on behalf, therefore, of the wider Orange family and the wider jurisdiction throughout the world, I want to thank all who have given you their support. Brethren, I share your frustration at the way the graduated response has gone or has not gone. I genuinely and sincerely believe that those within the Orange leadership, when they entered into the graduated response, I fully believe, because I was one of them myself, I fully believe that they did that with sincere earnestness, and they believed in what they were doing. Now it has, up to this point, it has stuttered and faltered and seems to have maybe achieved very little. And then most recently, as Brother Chittick has said, the Secretary of State, Theresa Villiers, has then pulled the rug from under our feet even more than it was pulled previously by saying that the panel of inquiry has now been ditched. And in a sense, probably we don't entirely know where we are at this moment. I know that the Grand Officers are meeting with various strands of unionism in the course of this incoming week to hear what the story is, to hear what the position is from the various strands of unionism. They all signed up to the Unity Pledge, they all gave us their support, and we still ask of them today to remember the bowl in which they were baked. We ask them today to remember where most of their votes still come from. And we say to them, don't take our votes for granted. Don't take our votes for granted. And we say to them, therefore, get your act together, stand together, and continue to give this institution, out of which unionism in so many ways was born, continue to give this institution, and the brethren in Ligadale, and the brethren from Cree, and those under pressure in various other places, continue to give our Orange brethren the political support that we expect of you. And we ask all strands of unionism to do that and to put their shoulder to the wheel and give us the support that we deserve. Last night, brethren, I was in my home district of Limavady. I was attending the installation of officers at Baviva Purple Heroes LOL 260. And one of the things that I was doing while there was unveiling and dedicating a plaque to the late Brother William Douglas. Brother William Douglas was a tremendous man. He was an elder in Belfast Presbyterian Church. Belfast Presbyterian Church was the first church that I ever preached in when I was a boy of 19 years old. And he was sitting down, Brother Willie Douglas was sitting down at the back pew of that church that day, and he gave me no end of encouragement. He gave me probably far more praise than I deserved, because it was my first ever sermon, and I'm sure it wasn't the best in the world. But he gave me all the encouragement that he could. He was an elder, he was a Christian man, he was a farmer, he was in the RAF, he was Worshipful Master of his own lodge, he was Worshipful Master of Limavady District, he was County Grand Master for a time of County Londonderry. But some of you may remember him particularly because of his involvement and the stand that he took with regard to a parade through a town in County Londonderry known as Dungiven. And Willie Douglas did his utmost to try and ensure that the brethren in Dungiven would be allowed to march. Now, it didn't kind of work out entirely in the way that he would have liked, but even to this day, actually, the brethren in Dungiven do still march. They don't march with a band, but they still take their place on the road, and they still march up the main street in Dungiven, either to the Presbyterian Church or to the Church of Ireland Church for their annual church service. And why do I mention that? I mention that because history repeats itself. Here you are standing for your rights. Last night I was unveiling and dedicating that plaque to a man who stood for the rights of the brethren in Dungiven. We honour his memory, and I want to give all my encouragement to you here today. And we're in a new year. Don't lose heart, and maintain your stand. And as Brother Chittick was saying earlier, in the words of the great Protestant reformer Martin Luther, who said, "Here we stand, we can do no other." And we re-echo that on the first Saturday of 2015. Brethren, a happy new year to you. Don't lose heart. Look unto your God. Fix your eyes upon Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith, who, for the joy set before him, endured the cross, and is now set down at the right hand of the Father in heaven. He is on the throne. Christ is on the throne. He will look after his own, and those who are with him are on the winning side. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Also, Arthur didn't come on his own, he brought his boss with him. Mrs. Smith, you're quite welcome to be here, and I know that you have been here on a number of occasions to give the brethren of Ardoyne your support. Before we depart, brethren, I wish you and yours a happy and prosperous new year. As Alistair said, turn your eyes upon Jesus, look full in his wonderful face, and the things of earth will go strangely dim in the light of his glory and grace. And also, God is still on the throne, and he will remember his own. Brethren, the national anthem.
God save our gracious Queen, long live our noble Queen. God save the Queen, send her victorious, happy and glorious, long to reign over us. God save the Queen. Queen, God bless her.